Hello and welcome to the Gers TV. This is Cy Leslie and I've got a special guest today from the USA. I've got Duncan Wiggins. How you doing, mate?
Just call me Wiggy, Sam. Everybody knows me in Wiggy.
I know the other Wiggy as well. He's as daft as you.
She's a daft Wiggy. I'm the sensible father, right?
Yeah, so obviously, Wiggy, you obviously live in Jacksonville now, and you get to watch the MLS as much as you watch Rangers. Would that be right?
Yeah, I do. I just got to say that the standard has been not very good at times, and the reason for that, Si, is because when these kids go to the MLS, they've got to go through college first, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like the American football. They go through college, then they go to a draft system. And what happens with the draft system, Si, is the worst team in the league gets the best draft player. And it just don't make sense. It's the same in the NFL. It really don't make sense. Example, Jacksonville Jaguars get the best player in the draft last year, quarterback. The guy's brilliant, but the team sucks, right? So it doesn't work. So New York, what we're talking about, they set up their own academy very much like Rangers.
Right, yeah.
And we're beginning to see an amazing paradigm shift that is absolutely incredible. In fact, I could mention right now that, as you know, Gio Reyna comes through that academy the same as James Sands. They come through the academy.
Claudio Reyna.
Yeah. Gio Reyna. Claudia's boy.
Oh, Claudia. Yeah.
Yeah, Claudia was in charge of the academy, right? So they're coming through this academy. They're not going to college to play that crappy football they play North Carolina, Rutgers and all that stuff. These boys aren't doing that. These boys are going to this similar assimilation project that the Rangers Academy does.
Right, yeah.
So James has come through that academy. He never went to college to play football. He comes through the academy.
So a wee bit about New York City Football Club. Would that be right? Is it 2003 they were formed? They're relatively new.
Say that again, sir. I never heard you there, sir.
Is it 2003 they were formed?
Yeah. There's two teams in New York.
Yeah.
This team is a money team. They are putting their money where their mouth is. I was actually surprised that they beat Portland to win the MLS Cup.
Yeah.
But they did. They played well. They are doing this because they've got this academy. The academy is making the difference. And it goes back to what we saw earlier on in the week, Si. We saw Nathan Patterson, who I absolutely love. I wish the boy all the best. Yeah. Nathan comes through our academy and he's going to Everton and he's going to be a fantastic player there. So, I wish that boy all the best. So Nathan he's going to a great team at Everton. He really is. He's always going to be playing for Scotland. And he's a Rangers man. He's always going to be a Rangers man. And so you've got this boy Sands, statistic-wise, playing-wise, he's a fantastic player. People have asked me what I actually think about him. I saw some stupid stuff on our Facebook pages today, Si, that me and you frequent. Yeah. One was, he's a winger. He's not a winger, Si.
Centre back.
The guy's 6'2". Right, he's 6'2", Si.
Right.
A fantastic centre back. He can play at right back. He can play in defensive midfield. And he could also play in attacking midfield because he's a big old boy that puts his weight about. And he's a big, skinny guy. But when he moves with the ball, I'll tell you who he reminds me of, Si. He reminds me of Carlos Cuellar.
All right, yeah.
And he was a fantastic player, as you know.
One of the best, yeah. So what role do you think he'll play with Rangers? Do you think he'll go into centre defence, or do you think they'll use him as a utility player?
I think primarily he's probably going to go into that centre mid position, and I'll tell you why. And it's just my opinion, and my opinion's like everybody. Opinions are like assholes. We've all got one, right? So, but I could go based on where the boy played in the Gold Cup.
Right. Yeah.
With them 6 games where America beat Mexico
Can you hear me all right now?
I can hear you now, Si. We kind of lost it.
The volume at a wee bit there. It's still recording. I should get it. So you're saying there that due when he played in the international scene, that he fitted in well.
Yeah, he played at centre back, and he played every one of them CONCACAF Cup games. They won that CONCACAF Gold Cup. They beat a very good Mexican team, Sam, SI, in extra time, as you know. Are you still hearing me here?
I hear you. I'm just looking at the facts. It was 1-0 to beat them. 1-0 to win.
They won 1-0 in extra time. Yeah. The guy had a great game. He had a great game. He had a great other 5 games before it, and he played every game at centre back. Solid, doesn't mess around. What he really does, and where we're lacking, Si, as you know, is set pieces. Yeah. We lose a lot of stupid goals at set pieces. This boy is going to get them out of there. He's going to get that ball cleared. I think he's going to be a fantastic centre back for us, and I also think he's going to fit in wherever we need him, just like Calvin Bassey. You know, Big Bassey's playing at centre back right now. The boy's a fullback.
Yeah, he's adapted to it. Yeah,
he really has.
So regarding him, obviously with his age, he's 21 years old. Is that right? Do you think he'll hit the ground running, or do you think it'll take him a few months adapting to the Scottish League?
No, I don't think it's going to take him any time adapting, and I'll tell you why. He's getting a lot of good advice from Claudia Rayner.
Yeah.
And you know, me and you saw Claudia when he came.
Yeah.
Claudia he hit the ground running. I think Big Sands is definitely going to hit the ground running. Whatever position we play him in, he can cover for Tav. He can play at that centre-back position. If we don't keep Connor, which I hope we do, if we don't, then the big guy's going to slot into that position, no problem. And you've got to remember, this guy's got 7 caps for the United States. And I know that kind of sounds Mickey Mouse to all our guys in Scotland.
But they're a good team. Yeah.
Yeah, they're a good team. And something else, Si. The boy played 40 plus times for the United States under 17s.
So he's got experience.
We're not bringing a rookie kid over here. We're bringing a boy that's got like steel on his back and knows what he's doing, and he's confident. I think it's a fantastic deal for Rangers. I think it's good for the boy. Yeah. He's getting out of MLS because you know what? Where's he going to go in the MLS? Nowhere. He's coming to the greatest team in football. He's going to play Champions League next year because we're winning 56. Yep. I mean, them Tims across the road, they're sponsored by Tenco. All them Japs, they ain't going to win nothing, right? We're going to win the 56. That boy's going to shine in the Champions League. And you've got to remember where he came from. He came from this little academy in New York. Just what we started all those years ago, Si. You remember when we started our academy? It was a little acorn that grew into a great oak tree. Yep. And that's what's happening now.
So just on the actual deal, Biggie, obviously we haven't signed the player full time. We've signed him as an 18-month loan deal with the option to buy. Do you think that suits both parties? Is that the way? Do you think that's the way New York City's want to do their business? I think that's the way Rangers want to do the business.
I know for a fact Rangers want to do the business that way, right? Yeah. Because it really makes financial sense.
Of course.
When that boy was getting paid in the MLS, we're going to pay him a lot more than that, right? We really are. And I don't know what his contract's worth, Si, because I haven't spoken to anybody. But he's come here on an 18-month contract. He's an American kid. He believes in the hard work. And I saw Party's interview today. This kid wants to play. I saw Stevie Arfield saying, God bless America, God bless Canada, and all that stuff, right? You know, so for me, the 18-month with an option to buy is a real good option because I feel this kid's going to be an integral part of the team in the second half of the season. I think he's going to slot right in there. I don't think Giovanni Van Bronckhorst is going to mess around and play him in other games and play him as a sub. You've seen what's happened with Rangers since Gio took over. He stopped the fullbacks from coming up and exposing us because we were losing stupid goals every game, right?
We've only lost 1 goal in the league. Yeah.
Yeah, and now we've only lost 1, right? So it makes sense for me for him to put this boy into the middle of the defence, and something that might be something Gio's got in his mind, because Gio played with us at Ibrox. James Sands played in the United States and he played at New York City in a back three, and he was a centre back in the back three. Maybe Rangers are going to go to a back three with this kid.
Yeah.
So I think there's all sorts of options there, Si,
And do you think, obviously, you're talking about that market in America with the New York City brand and things like that, do you think Rangers might delve into in there for some more players?
I think definitely, and I'll tell you why. Claudia Reyners went to Austin, right?
Yeah.
So Claudia's going to set up the same academy at Austin that he set up at New York. I think we're going to see Rangers really develop into that market.
So Rangers might link in with him even, with Claudio?
Bring who?
They might link in with Claudio.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. James actually went through the academy when Claudio was the director of the academy. And Gio Reyna was there as well. And there was another boy, I think he went to Barcelona or something. It came through that academy. But young Sands was the first person, homegrown player, that came through the New York Academy. And the guy's an absolute Jamie kid. He's confident. He's not going to come under pressure. He's not going to take any nonsense from that little Jap guy that dives more than a kamikaze pilot, right? Yeah. He's going to launch him into orbit. He's a great player. He thinks. He passes the ball. In fact, I would say that he passes the ball out of defence almost as good as Connor Goldson. And Golson's one of the best with that diagonal.
That's his best assets. That's his best asset.
I think so too. And I think this boy is probably been lined up in case Connor goes. But if Connor doesn't go, I think the boy could move right in alongside him, and then we could boost Big Calvin out to his normal position.
Natural position. And the thing is, as well, it's a young defence we're going to have. Obviously, Calvin Bassey's young as well. It's young and strong.
They're all boys, they're all kids. And that's what I was saying on one of them Facebook pages today when I was talking about him. I heard he was a winger. Well, we obviously never watched the boy play. The boy's never played in the wing, right? Well, James Sands, Bobby Sands, we've got to stop all that nonsense, right?
Of course, yeah.
That was 1981. I mean, me and you were watching Rangers then. These people, kid wasn't even born. Get away from that.
I agree with 100%.
And I actually want to commend you for some of your comments on some of the Rangers pages earlier, because you're like, we've got to stop this nonsense. Well, it doesn't matter what the boy's last name is.
The first thing I'm thinking is the young lads come to this country, and you want them, if you're reading social media, to feel accepted, and you want them to feel part of the family. And if you're reading things like that, you think to yourself, it's negative, and it's not going to benefit him. And
his interview's tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what he says. I think he's going to say he's a utility player, but he's probably best position is centre back. Now, he has played in centre midfield as a defensive player, making sure I've still got my buds. But I've also seen him play when the New York team were getting beat. I've seen him playing as an attacking midfielder.
Yeah.
And he's got the height and he's got the skill to move that ball around. So I think for him, centre back, full back, and maybe even an attacking midfielder, he could definitely right now at 21 years old, he could sit right there in that centre of that midfield in the Stephen Davis position. And you know how I feel about Stephen. He's a Rolls Royce. This boy could sit in there with Kamara and them and do a job. But I think, sorry?
No, sorry, I'm listening to you. Sorry, Neil.
I think Gio is probably thinking about putting him into that centre-back position.
I know. I think that's what we need. That's what the weakest link in the team is, I think.
He played against a really good Mexico side. Yep. And he never gave their centre-forward a kick at the ball, the big boy.
That's what we're looking for.
It is, no nonsense, centre-back.
And see, regarding the two leagues, I've seen a couple of comments today, and again, I get it's internet, and you take it for what it is, that some of the supporters for New York were looking at it as a step downwards. He was going, obviously, we would say it was a step upwards. What's how big a difference of the standards in the league do you think it is from?
I'm allowed to kind of say shite on your podcast.
You've done it now.
All right.
It's after 11 anyway.
MLS, right?
Yeah.
It basically stands for Major League shite. It's slow, right?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you when these boys pick it up. They pick it up when they go to the national team. Because the United States have got to pick it up when they play against other national teams. And this boy, Sands, he just picks it up. He stands out amongst that slow play of the MLS. I don't like the slow play, Si. It's horrible at times for me. It's like watching paint dry because it's all slow and very technical. But this academy that they're running at New York, they're having these players, how do you explain it? They're having these players express what their identity is and how they want to play the game. And the big guy is his deal is, and you'll probably hear it tomorrow night in the press conference. I'm not scared of anybody. I can compete with anybody. He's going to say, I could play. He is not going to need any transitioning into Rangers Football Club. And another reason, as you know, is Arfield and them boys are going to get alongside him and they're going to tell him, we are the people. They're not. This is what we do. And the boy's going to jump right into it.
He sounds like he's got a wee bit of arrogance about him and a bit of
he is.
blasé. And you need that with Rangers. You definitely need that wee bit. You need to be a wee bit special and believe in yourself. It definitely sounds good. What I'll do, Wiggy, is if it's all right with yourself after maybe 2 or 3 games that he plays, we'll maybe do another wee podcast and have a wee chat about how he gets on.
Oh, I'd love to say, anytime. Absolutely, mate, because, I think the boy's going to be a superstar. I think the boy is going to be fantastic. I've watched him. I've seen him in the under-17 games. I've seen him in the 7 games he played for the United States. 6 of them was in CONCACAF Gold Cup. Guy's solid. Solid player. I've seen him in the 26 games that he played for New York last year, and they won the MLS Cup. Boy is solid. I don't see any weakness in his game. He's not volatile. He's hard. He doesn't react when the referee talks to him. He walks away. And we need that, right?
Big time.
We need that. Because how they're going to try and wind him up. I don't think the boy could be wound up. And I think the young boy is a testament to the New York Academy. Because, as I say, you've got Gio Reyna in there. And there's that other boy, I can't remember his name. And there's other guys coming out of this academy right now, Si, that I think Rangers should maybe plug into. Because it looks as though we've got an in there. And then when Claudia bumps up that Austin Academy, we might have another link in there. Because the rest of these teams in the MLS, they're still using the college draft system. It doesn't work. Yeah. These teams are not saying you kids got to go to college. This boy signed, I think, when he was 15 years old or something. So he's a Nathan Patterson. Nathan Patterson can go and play anywhere, right?
Yeah.
As we've proven, he's going to Everton. I think, and this might be my best conclusion I could say, I think James Sands could play anywhere. And I think he'll fit right into the Rangers team. He's confident. He's playing for his national team. He's doing the business. The US national team are not losing a lot of goals. And that boy's right there in the middle of centre-back position. So I think he will probably play at centre-back.
Brilliant. Great to hear that. When I first thought we were going in for him, I was worried maybe a bit part player, but by the sounds of it, he's a future leader of the Rangers defence, and that's what we need. A big, bulky kind of player that can win the ball in the air, and he's got that wee bit of arrogance and fight in him.
I don't know if you've seen the picture of him. If you stood him beside Bassey, he'd look like a skeleton, and Bassey'd look like a brick shithouse, right? But, the guy is so agile. And you're talking about his leadership qualities.
Yeah.
This guy walked into the Rangers dressing room today. I saw a little bit of the preamble.
And confident.
You see his confidence. And I know that some of our Rangers supporters, again, and websites said he's too cocky. Listen, this boy's not cocky. This boy's confident in his ability.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. Yeah.
I think we need that, Si.
Excellent. No, listen, you've picked me up hearing this now. I'm looking forward to his press conference tomorrow night as well. And this video, I'll put this video on about what time are you now? We're at 12 o'clock British time.
I'm at 7 o'clock. I'm at 7 p.m. our time, so it's 7 o'clock.
But I'll put it out at 9 in the morning. I'll put it out at 9 in the morning because that way people will watch it. If I put it out, they'll miss it.
Will it be on Gers TV?
I'll go on Gers TV, I'll send you the link.
I'll push a lot of boys to watch it, especially boys that are kind of sceptical. I'll direct them towards Gers TV's side, because you know what? I think this boy is going to be one of the most exciting players that we've brought to the club. And if we get that other boy that Loudrop's talking about, darn, I mean, 56 on the way anyway, right?
Yeah.
Now, I don't. Katic is coming back. Is Katic coming back? Have you heard?
We don't know. There's been rumours, but again, I don't tend to use rumours. I don't think he's coming back this window. That's the only thing. I'd like to have seen him back, but I don't think he's having a great time over there. So I don't know if he'll be back.
Well, so the boy, it would make sense because Gio's watched the boy a lot, so it makes sense because you know the way Gio's defense is going right now. He's stopping them fullbacks from pushing up too much, which I agree with, because all them stupid goals we lost.
Yeah.
He might, because of this boy's skill, he may be able to go to a back three further on in the league, and then push the boys up.
Or it might play too. It might change your formations, because some of the games in Ibrox you're playing, you're just basically playing against 10 men behind the ball anyway.
Yeah.
You're not really in the full defence here.
And you know what? For New York, Si, the boy played fantastic in the back three. He's fast. He's big old skinny guy. He looks like a giraffe, man. Skinny, but he's fast, hard. You know, so a back three might be what Gio's thinking on. I mean, I don't know, because I've never talked to the guy, but that might be where he's going.
Yeah. No, excellent. Thank you very much, mate, for the interview. I appreciate it.
Thank you, my friend. And what?
Bedtime for me. It's just going to 12 o'clock.
You know what? If we want to look back on it in a couple of months down the line, Si, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we could. But thanks very much for inviting me to your podcast. I love it. I watch it, and me and you have been watching Rangers for years, and we've been through the bad times, and we've been through the good times, and we're still Rangers supporters.
All the best, mate, and never forget we are the people.
We are the people, sir. All right,
Yes.
I shall catch you later.
Thanks.
Thanks, guy.
Thank you.
All right, mate. Cheers.